The narcissism debate. Is Donald Trump a case study in ego psychology? Have you ever wondered why Donald Trump evokes such strong reactions, both admiration and outrage, across the globe? What is it about him that makes people either fiercely loyal or passionately critical? Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of ego and narcissism, using one of the most polarizing figures in modern history as a case study, Donald J. Trump. Let's get started. 1. Narcissism versus ego. What's the difference? To understand Trump through a psychological lens, we first need to clarify some terms. The word narcissist gets thrown around a lot these days, but what does it really mean? In psychology, narcissism is a personality trait characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. There's a clinical diagnosis, narcissistic personality disorder, but most people exist on a spectrum. The ego, on the other hand, is not inherently bad. According to Sigmund Freud and later thinkers like Carl Jung, the ego is the part of our psyche that mediates between our instincts and social reality. It gives us a sense of identity. So, is Donald Trump just ego-driven, or does he show signs of full-blown narcissism? 2. Grandiosity and self-image. One of the most obvious traits we see in Trump is grandiosity. From gold-covered buildings to calling himself a stable genius, his language and lifestyle reflect a person who needs to be seen as superior. Psychologists point out that narcissists often overcompensate for deep-rooted feelings of insecurity. Their need to be the best isn't just arrogance, it's a defense mechanism. Trump's decades-long pattern of branding his name, exaggerating his wealth, and claiming credit for everything good can be interpreted as a textbook example of narcissistic self-inflation. 3. The mirror of public adoration. Another hallmark of narcissism is a craving for admiration. Trump's rallies often resemble entertainment events more than political meetings. He thrives in front of a crowd. He feeds off the energy, applause, and loyalty of his followers. This is not accidental. Narcissists are known to seek external validation to stabilize their self-worth. In Trump's case, his supporters often act as an emotional mirror, reflecting the greatness he wants to believe about himself. But there's a twist here. The same crowd that feeds his ego also triggers opposition in others who see this behavior as manipulative or dangerous. 4. Lack of empathy or strategic detachment. One of the most debated traits of narcissism is a lack of empathy. Critics often cite Trump's harsh language toward opponents, immigrants, and marginalized groups as evidence. But here's the psychological twist. Some argue this isn't necessarily a lack of empathy. It could be strategic detachment. The ego can act as a filter, cutting off emotions that would interfere with personal goals. In Trump's case, showing empathy may be viewed as weakness, especially in a high-stakes world where dominance equals survival. So, does this make him a cold-hearted narcissist or just a hyper-pragmatic leader? 5. The fragile self beneath the armor. Psychologists like Dr. Craig Malkin and Dr. Ramani Durvasula point out that narcissism is often rooted in fragility. Beneath the bravado lies a deep fear of not being enough. Trump's fierce denial of defeat in the 2020 election, despite overwhelming evidence, can be interpreted as the ego's defense against humiliation. For narcissistic personalities, being wrong isn't just undesirable, it's unbearable. This could explain his obsession with winning at all costs, often at the expense of truth or diplomacy. 6th, projection and blame. Carl Jung's work on the shadow self is particularly relevant here. The shadow is the part of ourselves we deny or reject, often projected onto others. Trump has a long history of blaming others: the media, immigrants, Democrats, even his own allies. Jung might interpret this as projecting his own flaws onto the outside world. It's not just a political tactic, it's a psychological defense. By turning others into villains, the ego protects itself from facing inner insecurity. 7. Charisma, confidence, and control. To be fair, we must acknowledge that Trump's confidence and charisma resonate with millions. His ability to dominate a room, command attention, and double down on his beliefs has redefined modern leadership, whether you like it or not. But is this genuine confidence or the mask of narcissism? That's where psychology becomes fascinating. Sometimes the same behavior can stem from very different inner realities. True confidence comes from self-awareness and balance. Narcissistic confidence, on the other hand, is brittle and reactive. When challenged, the narcissist doesn't reflect, they attack. 8. Why Trump both inspires and infuriates. Trump is more than a politician, he's a symbol. To some, he embodies American strength, success, and rebellion against the elite. To others, he represents danger, division, and unchecked ego. That polarizing effect isn't accidental. According to ego psychology, figures like Trump act as emotional amplifiers, revealing our own projections, hopes, and fears. He's not just a man, he's a mirror. Final thought, the narcissist within us all? So, is Donald Trump a narcissist? Maybe. But the more important question is, why are we so drawn to figures like him? Is it because they show us parts of ourselves, our ambition, our insecurities, our hunger for validation? In psychology, every judgment is also a revelation. What we see in others often says more about us than them. So next time you're triggered by a leader, ask yourself, what part of me is reacting and why? If you enjoyed this breakdown of ego psychology and modern leadership, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the minds that shape our world and our own. And don't forget to like this video, leave a thoughtful comment, and share it with someone curious about the psychology of power. Because understanding others starts with understanding yourself. Has this changed the way you view ego and narcissism? Drop your thoughts below. Subscribe to Psychology of Happiness for weekly insights into the human mind. Until next time, stay curious, stay conscious,